And we are live. It's Bardowski with a brand new episode of Social Girl Live. Tonight we're talking about it is the most discussed topics ever on Facebook. If you guys get my email, you probably already know what it is. Let me know right now. Take a little guess. The most discussed topic ever, and I'm talking by the millions. I'll give you a hint. It's coming up this Sunday, March 8th. And the answer is, can anyone guess? It's International Women's Day. Hashtag IWD 2020. So we are ahead, of course, of International Women's Day with a special episode for you of Social Girl Live. I am going to be bringing in a panel of top direct sales leaders for you. We are going to be celebrating achievements, empowering you, inspiring you to take risk, and to ask for help. It's one of those things that seem to be kind of a constant theme and a constant struggle, right? It's hard to ask for the help that you need. And our mission tonight is to inspire you, to help you overcome that so you guys can stop the struggle and start doing what you need to rock your business. And of course, one of the big overriding themes of International Women's Day is equality. The other hashtag you need to know is hashtag equal for equal. It really is about the pay gap for women. And really what I love about this industry is we have no glass ceiling. It's really what attracted me to this business, coming from a corporate career. And, I have probably a story like many of you who have ever worked in a corporate career. Now, I'm going back to the 80s. We're going back to the 80s. Before, today we have so many more discussions about this. But back then, trust me, there were many people that thought I was there to get them coffee. I was the only woman in a sea of men. I call it the sea of navy suits. And I was really kind of stuck trying to figure out how to, fit in, right? And it's really the opposite of what we need to do as women, is to not feel like we have to fit in and really embrace who you are. That's how you start to change those perceptions. And there was one thing that happened that really catapulted my success when I was in my corporate career. When I stopped trying to be what everybody else thought I should be, I stopped wearing those navy suits, those boring navy suits. One day I went out and I bought myself a hot pink suit. I'm talking fluorescent highlighter pink. This was the 80s, okay? So that was in style. And it's almost as if it transformed me, because I went to school for fashion. I have a degree in fashion merchandising. And, that's part of who I am. I really love, checking out different styles and trends, and fashion is part of who I am. And so making that shift of being more of who I was really an important kind of a tipping point for me, to help me break free of what, everybody else thought I would needed to be. And it really helped build my confidence. And that's a big part of this, right? Is to have the confidence to ask for what you want, to take more risks. So I'm going to bring in a fantastic panel of some of the top women leaders who are leading teams of hundreds, thousands of consultants, both men and women, right? And they're going to share some of their own personal stories. We want you to be inspired to dream bigger and to just go for it. So I can't wait to hear. We're going to be asking you, so stick around for the end, because we want to know exactly what you guys are inspired to go for as a result of this broadcast. So here we go. This is our expert panel. We're actually all going to be getting together in person which never happens, right? We're all meeting in Florida at the end of this month for my second annual leader retreat. And so I thought, what a better way to really celebrate. March is the big focus on women, and especially with International Women's Day coming up. So first, I want you to meet them. We have Denise Ouellette, Jen Trevarthan, and Shannon Ferraby. So let's start with you. Denise, tell us a little bit about where you're from and what your background is.
Okay. Well, first of all, super excited to be here and super excited to be going to Florida. And I am right here, actually north in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So a little ways away. And you know what? I am celebrating 26 years in the industry this year. Like, I am so excited. I started when I was this old. But I absolutely love this industry. I've been with a couple of companies. Most recently, I'm now with Takara Jewelry. So just leading the most amazing team. There is like 700 of us, coast to coast to coast. So really sprinkled all across North America. And, if I was to think about this industry, our team has had, $12 million in sales in our first 5 years. So I honestly think this is the most incredible industry for women, especially women.
Exactly, right? It's one of those few places where we do celebrate achievements and encourage women to, biz brag, as I like to call it, and not, apologize for it, right? Not apologize for your successes. All right, so how about Jen Trevarthan? She's below me in our Brady Bunch box here.
Look up.
Hi, Jen Trevarthan. Yeah, so you also have a long history in our industry. Tell us what you were, where you're from, what you were doing before, and what you're doing now.
I am Jen Trevarthan. I'm from Illinois, and I have been in the industry for 11 years. I was a former speech-language pathologist, then stay-at-home mom. And I was a happy stay-at-home mom, but I guess my biggest regret is not starting in this industry sooner. And I think that's kind of what we're all going to say is I am so surprised. I get to work with women that I love. It makes getting out of bed in the morning so much fun. We have a team across the country, and I loved I'm a mom first and foremost, and I've been able to build this business around my kids when they were young and be at all their activities. We did not have any family in the area, so being at their activities was very important to me. And my husband traveled a lot, and I was able to build a successful business, and it's been absolutely amazing. And one of the things, I guess, we don't get high fives for scrubbing toilets at home, right? Like you put dinner on the table, nobody's like, hey, high five, Jen, thanks for that. That's awesome. Like, they may say thank you, but they're like, high five, here's an award, There's so much with this business that just rewards you and celebrates you. And it's amazing.
And, I'm so glad you said that, because I feel like that is one of the things this industry is so great for, is really valuing self-worth, right? Mm-hmm. As women, and having the opportunity to be whoever you want. One of the big messages is you can have it all. And I've kind of always been against that message, because I feel like it sets us up for failure and for an ideal that's impossible and a standard to live up to, right? Like, that's perfection. But we can have it our way. We can have it on our own terms. And I think that we need that as women, right? To send those messages that it's not going to be perfect. Some of the balls in the air are going to drop, and that's life, right? All right. And next to Jen is the gorgeous Shannon Ferraby. Actually, I think this is one of the most beautiful panels we might have ever had on Social Girl Live. Beautiful from the inside out. So Shannon, tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, what were you doing before, and what are you doing now?
Oh, awesome. Well, I'm really excited to be here too. Thanks so much for asking me. My name is Shannon Ferraby. I live now in Ohio, but I was born and raised in New Jersey, and I love that Lynn and I have that common bond there. And I was a homeschool mommy for 15 years. Wow. So I spent a lot of time doing that with my children. And I came across direct sales. I'll be celebrating 10 years this year. And it was honestly an accidental find, but I don't think it was actually an accident. I'm I'm feeling it was meant to be. And becoming a leader was actually the same way for me as well. But I love about this industry that when I needed connections the most, when I needed to feel needed the most, direct sales was there for me. And I love that this industry helps women shine whatever their gifts or talents are. I haven't met a woman yet that doesn't have a gift or a talent that she can bring to this industry. And so I'm passionate about that and about helping women find where they fit in and just getting them to the place where they believe that they have a part here too and they can succeed here too. I love that.
Yeah, and we're kind of at the front line, really, of women's empowerment, right, in our industry. Not just, I always said I would love to do a study of the children of, direct sales moms, because, your families see you dreaming big and overcoming fear and failure firsthand. We don't even realize how much we're impacting them. But, almost every direct sales leader I talk to tells me great stories of what their kids are doing now, and kind of like thanking their mom for being the one that was the role model for them. So I want to thank all of you ladies for being here tonight and sharing your wisdom, your inspiring stories. And we're going to kick it off with the Equal for Equal pose. This is part of this whole movement for International Women's Day. We're going to do the equal sign. We're equal. Wait, hold on. Somebody take a screenshot for me. Here we go. I'm like hiding my face. Equal for equal. That's what it's all about, right? Women, empowering women. Hopefully somebody took a screenshot of that. We'll redo it. And so I want to challenge everybody that is watching. You can't upload a photo while you're watching live, but I want you guys to strike the equal for equal pose in solidarity of this whole focus tonight, and come back and upload it in the comments, because I think that's just going to be so powerful to see all of these women and men, we don't want to forget you, supporting each other. Holly's saying she screenshot it. Thank you, Holly. See, we have our back, right? That's what it's all about. All right, so the first topic for this discussion, again, if you're just coming into the broadcast, we're talking about International Women's Day. It is coming up on March 8th, this Sunday. We're celebrating the accomplishments of women who empower women, especially doing that tonight with this group of top leaders, because you guys really are at that front line, leading the way for others. It's what you do. So first up, let's talk about the challenges of being a woman, right? It's different. I always said the reason I wrote my first book was because I realized all the books I was reading about success were written by men. And when I tried to get published, they said, oh no, women don't read books written by women. Like, yeah, because you're not publishing them. That's why. And so, for me, that was a big challenge for me. Specific to my gender, it was a big closed door after closed door after closed door after closed door. And I was like, I want to read books from women that have the same challenges I have, right? That are working at home, picking up the kids, doing the laundry, trying to put dinner on the table, and trying to convince your family that, yes, this is a real business that I'm working. I'm not just playing here. And so I ended up self-publishing myself. And Shannon is an author here as well and working on her second book. So I love it. Just go out there and take those risks and find a way to do it. So what are some of the, challenges you have faced, and how have you overcome them? Who wants to start?
Okay, I'll jump in.
Hand in the air.
I know, totally impromptu. You know what? Actually, I come from the financial industry world years ago, and I was there for 14 years. And at that time, too, this is like back to the 80s, 90s. And it was that man's world. And I found you were always in competition. You were always, it was that fierce battle climbing the corporate ladder. And I felt there was so many sacrifices along the way that you really couldn't have it all, especially as a woman. So fortunately for me, that's when I was introduced into the whole direct sales. Again, just happened to go to a party way back when in 1994. And that's when I learned. And I'd have to say, what I really, really learned, that one thing way back when, was that this industry really, it empowers women. You said no glass ceiling at the time, still is. And the biggest thing was that we're not in competition with each other, that we're totally here to support each other. It's all about supporting other women in our teams, with each other. So yeah, I mean, this is going back a ways, but I would say it was tough.
I totally get that. And it's so powerful to be in, it's like our own little sisterhood, sorority. It really is that feeling. And it's so refreshing because, you know, again, talking about stereotypes, I feel like it's the opposite of what people perceive us, you know, especially women, that to be in this group of just this tribe of women cheering on other women. Jen or Shannon, do you have a story that you would like to share?
I'll start. I just want to share. I mean, I think it's so hard for women to raise families, where we have to, if we start in an industry and then we want to take time off to raise our family, we kind of have to start from ground zero again. And like, you took time off to raise your family, so that you've been out of the workforce for X amount of years, zero again. And this business has been so huge because I've been able to do it at the same time. And that's rare. It's rare. And it keep my pay going and excelling at the same time. So yeah, I mean, I think men, no offense, men, but you don't do that. You may stay at home, and we have a lot of stay-at-home dads and everything, but it's just different. It's different for a woman. And this industry, we can do everything. We can dream, we can do, and we can grow.
It is getting better, I find. You know, I have two daughters in their early 30s, and it really is a very 50-50 relationship. So that's kind of the good news. It is getting better. But yeah, I mean, my husband still, you know, the dry cleaning sits in a basket by the front door. It'll sit there for a week. And he, you know, drives by there on the way to work every day. But it's like, that's my job, to drop off the dry cleaning. How about you, Shannon?
Well, you know, I was thinking about this question, and I couldn't come up with something specific to my gender. But when I was really little, I was super little. I was skinny, I was tiny, and my school system tried to put me in special education classes because of my size, just because I was so small. Yes.
Wow.
And I only know this hearing it from my parents' story, but my dad called the school district and said, you know, no way are you going to meet your number of quotas by putting our daughter in special ed classes just because she's short. But I found that specific part of me created dilemmas my whole life. Being short through school was difficult and had challenges that had to be overcome. So I don't think I've had a specific instance where I couldn't get what I wanted or achieve something because I'm a woman, but it may be because I had to fight for myself due to my size, and just got to that point where it didn't matter what gender I was. It didn't matter what size I am. I'm going to go after what I want. And I probably started that way back, way back then. But it allows you, if you've overcome anything, to understand and sympathize with women and with the struggles of equality not being given based on anything.
So you learned how to be a fighter from a young age.
Yeah, a scrappy fighter.
Right? That's all right, right? We know how to hustle. Yeah. So a big part of that is for asking for what you want. And it is one of the biggest struggles, because we've got so many balls in the air, you know, and I always say our team starts with our families, you know, like that's your home team. And yeah, they gotta work. As soon as my daughter was tall enough to reach the washing machine, I taught her how to do her laundry. She was the only one in college that knew how to do laundry. So what is your advice for for women to really ask for what they want, whether, you know, and this can transcend obviously beyond our industry, because I feel like once you get the confidence to do that, it you know, ripples across everything else that you want, because so many women are not just managing maybe a home and a side gig, but they're also working full time. They're working full time today in the workforce. So, how do you do it? And, you know, what do you encourage your teams to do?
Well, I think one of the things goes back to what you said about our children, Lynn, and what you've recognized in women in this industry. I hadn't connected those dots before, but my children are very independent and they are not afraid to take risks and try things. But I do think that probably goes back to expecting that independence from them, expecting them to chip in and do their share. And part of that is because what mommy does is important. And that message is communicated. I'm not playing around. It's not a hobby. It's an important part that is contributing to our family. So communicating that what you do is an integral part of your family's needs, your finances, however it's helping, I think changes their perspective. And then you expect them to chip in. It's an expectation in my family. And so they've been raised that way. And it created in them, I think, a better understanding of what is really happening in our family dynamics.
Yeah, that is great advice. And I mean, that's so simple, right? It's like family meeting time. But, you know, again, it's just something that we don't do enough. So good advice. Communicate with the home team what you need, because whatever you're doing, whether it be at your job or with a, you know, your own business, whether it be a side gig or, you know, for you, of course, it's full time. It supports everybody, right? I mean, your families, all of your families have had, I'm sure, dreams come true as a result of your contribution. So they got to chip in. Denise, how about you?
Actually, when you first asked that question, Lynn, about asking, I was thinking you need to ask yourself first, what do you want? And really just have a really clear picture, clear vision, and really know yourself, what you want first. And then as far as taking it the next step, I think it's super important to really surround yourself with people. So whether it's colleagues, whether it's your partner, girlfriends, but people that will really support your business, support your dreams. Because I see too often, it just takes that one little naysayer to come in and just squash those dreams. And I see women quit way too easy. So I think as women, we need to be our number one advocate, our number one cheerleader, and then really make that conscious effort to really surround yourself with those positive minded people that are really going to help support you.
Find your tribe.
Yes.
Right? Listen to your gut. I mean, those toxic people, and sometimes you don't have a choice because they are family and we can't break up with them. But yeah, just don't talk to those people about your business if they're just gonna rain on your parade. Right? It's so important to have those people. And I feel like all of you have just really modeled that. I feel like we all connected. You know, they say your vibe attracts your tribe. And I feel like we all were drawn to each other. And I'm one of those believers that like people come into your life for a reason and like you get it. And so that's why I invited you here tonight, because you know, we speak the same language. And so it's important to find those people that do that for you. All right. How about you, Jen?
I want women to know that they're worth it. Like you're worth it. And I think so many women, they don't believe that and they don't know it. They are worth it. And to dream, to do. What I love most about my team and my tribe is that if I have an idea, I'll run it by them, but I encourage them, if they have an idea, to think outside the box, because that's what's fun for me. And if they have an idea, run with it. Like, have you ever worked for a place and you brought an idea and they're like, nope, you can't do that, squash it. They said, no, you can do that here. Like, bring it. I encourage everybody to bring their ideas. It's never the Jen show. I always say, it's not the Jen show. You've got an idea, I want you to share it, I want you to do it. That's what makes it so fun. So yeah, and they're worth it.
So it sounds like you're really providing the environment for people to take risk. You're encouraging people to take risk.
I hope so. Yeah, absolutely. We've got one life, one opportunity, and nobody should tell us how we should do it. And that's my opinion. We've got a platform.
Yeah, and I think that's a big responsibility we have to each other, to everybody watching. That, when we hold ourselves back, we're limiting everybody that's watching behind us. Each woman inspires another. And I've always felt we had a responsibility as women to each other, because you never know who's watching. And I've had people reach out to me. I've been in this industry for this is my 30th anniversary. And I've had people reach out to me that maybe came, across in my life 20 years ago, 25 years ago, started in direct selling for a few years, went on to do other things, but they said it was their time in this industry that gave them the confidence and the skills, because you learn so many important skills in this business to then do whatever their next chapter was. So,
I have to share, Lynn, when you said that, I literally hyperventilated at my very first show into a brown paper bag, like for real. And I tell people this, oh my gosh, if I can do it, you can do it. But just what you said, the whole personal development is so huge in this industry.
Yeah. And it never ends, right? We are all lifelong learners. It just never ends. So you guys have been sharing great insights. Is there any, thing that comes top of mind, like a specific challenge or obstacle that you had to get through that as a result kind of has made you stronger?
I had a biggie 5 years ago. I could share that one.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I know I'm not the only one that this would have happened to. But the company that I was with, no notice, shut their doors, and boom, no income, no nothing. And so that's where I think I just needed to really dig deep, and I was able to make a decision very, very quickly. What did I want to do next? And it was that, again, it was a leap of faith. But I think it was really having that resiliency that, you know what, you have to keep fighting, and you just sometimes have to take that leap of faith. And I definitely did my homework. I knew exactly what I wanted. And once I decided, I was there, like 200-300%. But I think too, that can either paralyze somebody with fear, and they just become so paralyzed, they don't know what to do and they can't make a decision. So I would say it's helped me become a much better business person, much better decision maker. That was a really, really big one.
So be able to make those shifts.
Yes.
Because the one thing we can count on is change.
Yeah, no matter what industry, everywhere in the world.
Yeah, everywhere in the world. Life is an ebb and flow. And sometimes you're in the flow and sometimes you're not. And so be able to kind of get over ourselves.
Yes.
And move on. So kudos to you. And so funny that that's how we met with your new company now. Even though we were both with the same company, we didn't even know it. So,
I know.
Right? Shannon or Jen, anything come to mind for you?
Well, yeah, I had an experience about 6 years ago now where my husband wanted to learn how to scuba dive. And I was terrified, just absolutely terrified of the whole thing, but wound up going through the certification process with him. And literally, talk about hyperventilating. I was having literal panic attacks, like 30 feet below on the sand, like seriously thought I was going to die. And I would wake up, panic attacks in the middle of the night. I just so sick and so terrified. But anyway, I got through it. I got certified, even though I thought I was going to die. And what it has taught me was just what you were talking about, Denise, about that fear and overcoming the fear. One of my reasons for not wanting to do it was, yes, I was afraid, but I convinced myself that I wouldn't like it because of my fear. And that fear was stopping me from something that now has become my biggest passion. So I'm able to help other women see that just because you're afraid of something, if you can find the motivation, if you can find it in yourself to do it scared, it might wind up being what you love most of all, if you can just get past that first part. And so it has helped me to empower women to overcome fears, but also for myself. When something happens and I feel those butterflies and I think, I don't want to do it, I don't like that, or I'm afraid of that, I remember that experience and think, oh, you might love it. Do it. Just do it.
Just do it. Do it for the people behind you, which include your families and the naysayers and,
Absolutely. And, our motivation for things change. My motivation during that week was for my husband. I was doing it for him. He wanted to do it. I pushed through for him. Now I scuba dive for myself and for my children because I love it. But it's okay if our motivation is changing. That's another thing that is bound to change. But we have to stay strong and be willing to go through those currents.
I love that because it doesn't end. You could start kind of with like the baby steps. Obviously, if you're watching, you don't have to take a scuba dive lesson tomorrow. You can start with the baby steps, and that's how you get more confident. I think that is, the big question. How do we become more confident women? And it's doing the action. There's no workaround, and little baby steps that get you there. And then you tackle that hurdle, you push through that, and then you can do the next thing and the next thing. And Shannon and I have no doubt that it's been your life of pushing through, starting with the story you shared earlier, that got you to push through that really big fear. So that now it's your favorite thing to do, right? That's incredible.
And for women in direct sales, it could be something like building a team. They're afraid to ask anyone to join because they're afraid to be a leader, or they're afraid to hear no, or they don't know how to say it. It could be all different things. So they convince themselves that they don't want to build a team. They don't want to be a leader, but it's really just that fear that's stopping them. If they would just do it and then they have a team, they might love it, but they have to get past that fear first.
I totally agree. And we are going to be taking your questions. So make sure if you guys are watching and you have questions for anybody on our panel, this is, kind of a rare opportunity for you to get into the heads, get some great advice and mentoring from some of the top leaders in the business here. So feel free to ask questions because we will get to them in just a couple minutes. How about you, Jen? We don't want to leave you out.
I would have to say there's so many things, and I can't relate to the scuba diving, but definitely like companies shutting their doors. Same exact thing. But I would say the one thing that comes to mind right now is social media for me. I was not a speaker. My neck would get all red, let alone in person, let alone social media. And I think we've talked about this, Lynn, that it was 3 years ago that I didn't take a single picture of myself. There was not one picture of myself on social media. I would do company graphics. I would do my customers. I would just not put myself on. Now I'm here. So I was terrified of going live, let alone have my picture, but to go live, what would people think? What of this? But I have connected with women across the country that are my friends. It's crazy, the power of going live, and that you can build relationships across the country by being on social media. So that was a big fear for me. And I'm so thankful that I conquered, that I, kept battling through. And now I'm feeling much more confident.
And now you're speaking at the leader retreat.
True.
Oh my gosh. And that's how we met, kind of inadvertently.
Well, I stalked you. It was your book.
You stalked me. And Roseanne is watching, and she's sharing a great insight here that you raise your frequency by being grateful. And I'm a big believer in gratitude and gratitude journals and just waking up every day and being grateful for being able to put your 2 feet on the floor and walk. Right? Like just celebrating those small things help you stop worrying about all the little things that it's like, what are you talking about? Right? So for those of you that are watching, I have a challenge for you. I would like to know what you're going to ask for. What are you going to ask for? Think of something specific that's going to help you, whether it be push through fear. Maybe it's to, connect more with your tribe, or to find a mentor or an accountability partner. Or maybe it's to ask, a family member to stack the dishwasher. Like, it can be that simple. My husband will actually be at our leader retreat. And this is the 2nd annual. Last year, they were calling him Mr. Lynn, which was really funny. And he's our chef.
He's good.
He is. He's my business partner, and honestly could not do it without him. And really, that's what the message is all about. It's, it's not against men. It's, we need to include men in this conversation because it takes both of us, right, to make equality happen. So a couple questions for you ladies here that I'm seeing. Let me find it here. This is a good one from Delana Green. If we want to get to the next level, I like what you're thinking here, Delana. She's already like, I'm ready to level up. How do you do it? And I've got my advice, but I want to hear from you guys. How do you get to the next level, whatever that level might be?
Consistency and persistence.
Oh, yes. Consistency and persistence. It really isn't, it is more the slow and steady, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Less the fast and furious. Just
keep at it.
Rinsing
Touching business every single day.
Yeah, I agree with the slow and steady. And I would add to that when you change your focus and you shift your focus from always thinking about and paying attention to what you want and what you need, but instead putting that focus on other people. What do they want? How can I help them? What can I do to lift them up, to provide for them? Not just your customers, but your team as well, your hostesses. When you do that, it maybe seems slower initially because you just want that fast result, but building those true connections and really being the type of person that cares more about the other person's win means that you win as well, and you wind up with those achievements.
Great advice, Shannon. Thank you. How about you, Denise?
I was going to say, break it down. I think sometimes if we start with a big lofty goal, to really just break it down into monthly, and then break it down weekly, and then break it down daily, and just have those daily action plans of what you need to do.
Yeah, it's opening up your calendar and saying, what can I do today that's going to move my business forward? Right. And I used to have a little mantra, really kind of to help me push through, because those pushy thoughts, we all have them, I don't care what level you're at in this business or what you've achieved. We're human beings. And so sometimes that little doubter creeps in, right? We need to kick their butt out the door. And so my little mantra was always, is what I'm doing serving myself and maybe a limiting belief, or is it serving others? And that really kind of was like exactly what I needed to be telling myself. It's like, oh, this is just serving a limiting belief about myself. I should be serving other people instead. So that definitely helped me push forward. Delana is saying I said her name correctly. So I'm very excited about that because I wasn't quite sure when I said it. She's like, that's a rare moment. But she's also asking what has helped you really get your calendar booked out for months. It is the consistency and the persistency. But do you guys have any specific nuggets of wisdom when it comes to keeping a full calendar? Because really that is our business in a nutshell. Of whatever goal you have, that's where it starts.
Well, one of the things I think you need to do is always be forward thinking. You need to plan ahead. If you think that you're going to be able to book your calendar out at the last minute, you're not. And you have to be planning because life happens to us all the time, every day. And, oh, I'll do it tomorrow turns into next week, into next month, into you have nothing. So you've got to really be forward thinking and plan out as far as you can in advance, booking that calendar so that when life happens, you've already taken care of that business.
So would you suggest like 2 or 3 months ahead to be planning for?
I think it depends on your avenue of working. For me, when I did a lot of events, I could book my whole year out. I could book 12 whole months of events. If you're doing parties, that's a little bit different. And then I think, 2-3 months is probably as far as you can go and make sure that they're actually going to stick.
Yeah. And it really should be a combination because at the end of the day, it really is your network that determines everything. Because if you have burned through your warm market, and sometimes that's why people quit. It's like I ran out of people, right?
Yeah.
So incorporating those networking opportunities into your business plan. If you've got an empty calendar right now, then get out. Stop sitting home every night. Stop posting on social media, hoping somebody's gonna just it's gonna kick in. Join a networking group, book vendor events, right? Get out, join a book club, a wine club, something of interest, join a Facebook group of interest, and you've got to get out and meet people. That's where it starts. That's how you keep a full calendar. It's all based on the number of people that you're connecting with.
Actually, what I was going to say, Lynn, my advice was to watch your Connect 25 video. And it's exactly what you said, being out there and meeting new people. I just thought that had so many fabulous ideas.
Oh, thank you. Yes, set a number, like whatever works for you in your schedule. If it's 5, if it's 10, if it's 25, how many people are you going to be connecting with each week? That is the first place to start if you feel like you have run out of people. Anything you want to chime in on there, Jen?
I mean, I think to remember that to block off your calendar. I mean, first, it sounds basic, but figure out when you can work. Don't just go in with a full calendar and be like, I mean, I'm guilty of it too. When I first started, somebody was like, I want to have a party on your birthday. I'm like, okay. She goes, I'll bring the cake. I'm like, all right. Like I was, working anytime I could get a party, but this is our business. And when I finally said, this is my business and I'm in control of my business, not my hostesses, not my customers. I sit down and find out on my calendar when I can work and really take control of that. And I think that helps tremendously. Then you can book those dates. When you go in with an empty calendar and you're just like, I'll take what I can get. I take what I can get. I've been there. But when you go in with a conscious decision and know when you can book, I think that helps a lot.
Baby steps.
It's a mind shift, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to that point where you took yourself serious, then other people are going to take you serious as well. Mm-hmm. That's a great point.
Yeah. I mean, success really does breed success. And sometimes you do have to fake it a little bit and pretend you're completely booked and you only have that one date left. You'll squeeze them in, right? Because perception is a big part of it, but you'll get there. You've just got to keep at it. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. This was so much fun. You've shared so many nuggets of wisdom. I would love for you guys that are watching to share your favorite insight. What was your big takeaway? And don't forget, my challenge for you is to share what you're going to ask for. Maybe that you've been needing, but you just haven't had the courage to do it, that's going to help you move your business forward. That's your challenge today. So make sure you guys share that with us. So before our wonderful guests leave, we want to know where everybody can connect with you, because I would love for everybody to reach out to you with a big thanks on your social sites. You know, make sure you are following these ladies. Send them a review on their Facebook page. Follow them on Instagram. Where can everybody find you? So we'll start with you, Denise.
Oh, I just forgot my handle thing. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to just say right now, just takara.com/Denise Ouellette. Request. I've been trying to change it on Facebook, and it's not letting me. I've put in all these requests. So,
okay.
Yeah,
well, I'll make sure, actually, right in the comments, you know, we tagged you guys, so you guys can follow the breadcrumbs and find all their social sites. Denise, you're on Facebook and Instagram.
YouTube,
correct?
Everything.
Hey, if you guys want to go to my Instagram at $1 Million Party Girl, my post today tags all these ladies. So that's the fast route. Just follow, right? That's a great way to thank them for their time here today. All right, Jen, where can everybody find you?
My name right here on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube is where I'm at. I'd love if anybody wants to take a screenshot of this, or if you did, share it on Instagram in the stories.
I love that. Yes, screenshot it, share it in your stories, and make sure you guys tag all us, and then we will reshare it for you to our stories, right? That's a great way we can all support each other. And how about you, Shannon?
You can friend me at Shannon Ferraby, this one. And Success Unwrapped is where you would find my Facebook page, my Facebook group, and on Instagram, Success Unwrapped.
And Shannon, we have to plug your book here.
Oh, thanks.
You don't happen to have one handy, do you?
I don't, no.
I usually have like my book on my desk somewhere.
Yeah, looking, I don't. But it's Success Unwrapped. You can find it on Amazon. And the next one coming out will be Success Unwrapped for Leaders.
Yes. And so if you need help with vendor events, that is Shannon's jam. And her book spells it out A to Z for you. And she will also be speaking at my leader retreat, a little sneak peek to her new book coming out, which is specifically for leaders. Can't wait to hear all your nuggets of wisdom. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you again. Just go to Instagram at $1 Million Party Girl or Facebook at $1 Million Party Girl, and you can see where everybody's been tagged, so we can make sure that we all stay connected. We want to hear back from you that are watching and find out what you're doing, what you're going to ask for that's going to help you move your business forward. Thanks for coming, everybody, tonight. We appreciate all of you. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget to let us know that you were here. And of course, tell anyone about this broadcast that you want to inspire. Hold a watch party for your team. Let's keep up this theme of women empowering women and helping women to be confident. All right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.